with ailing grandparents, and then I graduated high school from Carlsbad. Did some college up at New Mexico State in Las Cruces, and I've been in Albuquerque for 14 years. I am a social worker and professional guardian by trade, but I did some AV stuff. I did some television and radio in high school and college, and kind of got my feet wet in that world. I hosted a television program in high school and hosted a radio show in college, and kind of diverted from the entertainment field in my 20s and early 30s while I was building another profession. But I always had that itch that I wanted to scratch, and I didn't get that chance until I met up with our mutual friend Fred Slow 5 years ago.
Well, him and I met about 5 or 6, or maybe 7 years ago when he first moved in town, and then that's how I kind of met you and started watching y'all's growth. And I tell you, boy, you guys are growing quickly.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I'm sure as you remember, our first experience into the sports entertainment world here in Albuquerque was right here at ProView Networks, because we had a TV show and we shot some pilots, and for whatever reason didn't work out. We took our talents to South Beach, ended up on the Sports Animal, and we're coming right back here. So
everything works for a reason, and,
sure.
and it worked out really, really well. Talk about your show. I tell you, what you're doing for the community. I mean, and I first of all always compare everybody to what ProView Networks does. Okay, ProView does anywhere from 500 to 700 events a year. We're all over the state. Okay, and then but everywhere I go, you're there, and then if I'm not there, I listen to your radio show, and you're at that event. Okay,
yeah, sure.
So how do you keep up with that pace?
Yeah, sure. I mean, one of our mottos is "Boys Help Boys," and we stylize it BOIS, and we see boys as being unisex. We just like to help the community. So every time that we have a partner of the show, or we have a local business, something corporate, we always tie it into a local nonprofit. And if we're not helping the community, we feel that we're not doing our jobs, because we're blessed. We're honored to be talented enough to be on the airwaves, to entertain the Albuquerque sports loving and entertainment loving community, and we see that as an opportunity to help other people. So anytime that we can go into the community and tie what we do to another entity that helps people, i.e. whether it's Locker 505 or the YMCA or JDRF or any number of local nonprofits that we've worked with over the years, we're going to take that opportunity.
Well, how did you come up with the name Two Men On?
I mean, it's just the classic baseball trope, right? 2 men on. Counts 3 and 2, 2 men on, 2 outs. Hernandez is up to bat, but more than that, it's...
So what happens when you get a full count?
First base is open, you probably walk the guy, right? Yeah, but it's also 2 men on X, 2 men on whatever subject, 2 men on football, 2 men on Steve Davis, 2 men on Lobo basketball.
So you double team people, is that what you're doing?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
But your background, I've talked to you off the air and everything, is you love baseball and
big baseball dork.
So let's talk about the reason that there's a town named Carlsbad, and I think when you were growing up, there was some history with Carlsbad.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to caveman baseball legend Tom Forney. Him and a few other people cultivated my love of baseball, and it's never gone away. Shout out to my father, of course, for instilling that love of baseball, and it's my favorite sport, and it's never gone away. And I play fantasy baseball. I follow the Astros. Any good pitching matchup on TV. I'm a geek over Baseball Reference, Baseball Savant. I love it, and it goes with all sports, but baseball stands out as a favorite. And yeah, you mentioned Carlsbad. I mean, that's until my knee gave out. I played baseball at Carlsbad, and it's Carlsbad High takes their sports and their baseball very seriously. And and here I am. What is it, 22 years later, still with that same love of baseball.
Well, Van, we're going to take a little break, and we're going to come back and talk more about yourself, more about the sports animal, and things you're going to be doing this year.
Awesome.
Hey, welcome back to Steve Davis Show. We got Ben Nunnally here, 610 Sports Animal co-host, and we're off and rolling. First day back. It's great, great to have you on. And how did you get involved with 610?
So myself and Fred Slow, the co-host of Two Men On, and a shout out to Robert Buck D. Gibson as well. He's always in the on deck circle for us. Robert does Mondays and Fridays with us, but you know, myself and Fred, we had this idea of what we call sports adjacent. So I mean, everyone has a smartphone in their pocket, right? So you don't need us to tell you the baseball score. You don't need us to talk about, you know, who's in the home run race. But what we try to do is entertain. And we had an idea for this show, and we started shopping it around. Like we shopped it around to you guys and did a few pilots of a television show, then shopped it around to some local shows here, and Sports Animals saw something in us and gave us a shot. And we started doing Saturday mornings. We did that for a little over 2 years, and then started working on a daily program. And it's we just hit our 3-year anniversary 2 weeks ago for the show, and we're about to hit our 1-year anniversary of Two Men On being full time.
Well, I tell you, you got to, you know, I guess anybody out there that wants to be in this business, the word is patience and timing and opportunity to know what the timely opportunity. Like in baseball, it's a timely hit. You can hit all day long, but if it's a timely hit, people remember that timely hit.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, you know what, you know, like I said, I watched you, actually more of Fred and watch, you know, see him. We've had great talks over the last 3 or 4 years about, you know, strategy and how to move forward. And I tell you, you guys are making some progress. It's amazing how much progress you're making in 1 year. You caught me off guard because I just thought you started like 6 months ago. So that's how quick time goes.
Yeah. For Two Men On, the daily program that's been on for, you know, like I said, almost a year now, but Monday through Friday, 4 to 7 on 95.9 FM and 610 AM, the Sports Animal. Yeah, we just been fortunate. Like, we think that we have a good product that not only hardcore sports fans like, but the passive sports fan, someone who just wants to laugh and have fun. We feel that we have a product that is universal, that everyone can like, everyone can enjoy. You don't have to be a hardcore Cowboys fan to tune in to our show, Two Men On, to have a good time. And that's kind of like big picture what we're trying to do. But, you know, patience is key. So, you know, we had to wait for potential opportunities, and we still, you know, worked in the community and worked with people. You know, Fred calls games for you guys, and now he's He's up at New Mexico Highlands. with
Yeah,
the
what a
athletic
what a
program.
great story. I mean, he did a great job with New Mexico. He's now, when y'all 6'10", 2 men on, and now is really promoting what I like, New Mexico. It's just
Sure.
not Albuquerque, the
Yeah.
metro area. Now you're in the northern part of the state, and then, you know, as that develops, there's another school, Western and Eastern,
Yeah.
and build those relationships. And all of a sudden, besides the pro and everything, you're in high school. You do a lot of high school too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, we're fortunate to have a relationship with you guys and all the people who follow high school sports, like Sebastian and the like. And we do have an Albuquerque-centric coverage, but we also hit everything nationwide. So it's kind of cut and paste for everybody. If you want to hear about local sports, whether it's the Lobos, Isotopes, Gladiators, United, whatever's going on, you can look to our program. But also, if you want to have national news, what's going on, big picture, you can look to us as well. And we'd like to deliver it in a fun and
Well, one thing that you know, me looking always at, I guess, from the outside to the inside, or inside outside, or whatever, however you want to look at it, but you do a great job with your sponsors. You let them come on and have a segment, talk
Yeah.
about their business. It's not about sports. Just talk about, you know, how, you know, what they're doing in the community. So there's an inside community presence with sports, and I think that's something that's not seen enough.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, if a giant corporate entity came in and gave us an unreasonable amount of money, we might accept it. But our goal is to work local, support local, and tie these established local businesses to local nonprofits. You know, like I mentioned earlier, you know, boys help boys, and if we're not doing something for the community, I don't think we're doing anything at all.
Well, I tell you what, you know, sometimes action is more than words.
Sure.
And you guys have a lot of action,
Yeah.
and I you know, I speak of myself. I'm at a lot of events, and you guys are at more events than I am, and it's how do you do it? I mean, I'm of course I'm a little bit older and getting a little bit aged, but I'm telling you, it's, you know, it's Friday afternoon, it's Saturday night, it's Sunday morning. It's
Sure.
like 24. It seems like you guys are going like 24/7. How do you maintain that schedule and maintain the balance in life?
Yeah, well, it's not easy. Luckily, there's two of us. You know, 2 men on, there's 2 of us. So sometimes when we have to, we can split up. There's been a lot of days where I'm at the Isotopes and Fred's at the Gladiators, or I'm at United and he's doing a Highlands function. And we're a team. Like, we're a team on air, we're a team off air. And, you know, Fred's guidance, because Fred's been doing it professionally literally 15 and a half years longer than I have. So being able to learn from him and the example he set, and, you know, and his knowledge and experience from being in the game so much longer than me has served a really easy template to kind of go forward and build and grow. And we're very fortunate for
So
that.
he's kind of your mentor as
Sure.
As you
Yeah.
deal. And
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I
I
said,
mean, there's definitely an element of mentorship, but there's also an element of, you know, we're on air together. Like, we're friends in real life. We're not just co-hosts and business partners. Like, we get a lot of off-putting comments because we're together so often. A lot of people think we're a couple, and it took long enough to, like, dissuade those arguments. Like, hey, we're just friends and co-hosts and business partners. All right, Albuquerque, chill out.
So you have, the word is chemistry.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
And one thing that is, and I take this as a compliment. Some of the things y'all say are like off the wall, real quick, and spontaneous. And y'all don't always agree with this. Like, you're not a yes man to Fred, and you have your viewpoints. And when you have that chemistry of where it's just not the same thing, and I don't know if y'all practice that or not, but I'm just saying you know, it's not always the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, we just have, I mean, most of it's natural. Most of it's innate. Like, we do have that call and response. We have that really quick-witted rapport that is one of the highlights of our program. Like, us going back and forth. I mean, if we just sat there in long, drolling sentences talking about sports, I think a lot of people would turn the dial. Right. But, you know, we're entertaining, we're engaging, and, you know, like you mentioned, we do have that that back and forth. And no, we don't always agree, and sometimes it gets pretty spicy on the show.
I tell you what, we're going to come back and talk more about yourself and talk about 610 and then talk about the upcoming things that are going to happen with 610 and ProView Networks.
Sweet.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Hey, welcome back to Steve Davis Show. We got Ben Nunley here with Sports Animal 610, and I tell you, I'm proud of you guys. It's fun to watch.
Thank you.
It's fun to see guys that have energy, concerned about the community, and also, you talk about a man. Fred asks me questions and stuff, and I give him my 2 cents. And
Sure.
It's great to see success, and I think there's good things happening with 610. I mean, how great it is. I went up to Farmington. I listened to 610. I listened to y'all show while I was driving from all the way from, and it was good until the last maybe 2 miles, but it could still hear it.
Nice.
So the coverage that you're getting from 610. You guys got to understand that, I always tell this to all I'm just telling you, you got to understand, you never know who's listening to you and what your audience is.
Yeah, that's very true. Like, we have a sports animal hotline and sports animal text line, and we're also on Facebook Live when we do our show. So we get a lot of comments and a lot of perspective from a lot of other people that sometimes off the wall. And a lot of the times, some of the calls and texts that we get, we can't even air. Like, no, we can't say this on air. It's hilarious. But yeah, back to the coverage area. We got 95.9 FM and 610 AM all around the Albuquerque and northern New Mexico area. But we're streaming online, talkabq.com, iHeartRadio app, KNML app. We got the Facebook live stream. And when the show's done, we cut out the commercials and put it up as a podcast. So you can also catch us Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts too. And then hopefully pretty soon, maybe on
Well, that's what I was just going to say.
Yeah,
I just set you up, okay?
Sure,
I threw that carrot out there. You jumped right all over it. That's something that we've been working on for almost 6 months. Studio wasn't ready, and we've got this nice studio. We've got the state-of-the-art equipment, and we have, now we're just learning the process of working it with Comcast now. So just speak of what could happen here in the next week.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we are, like I said, we're already on FM and AM and the internet and podcasts and streaming services, and the final frontier is right here on ProView Networks.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're going to be going from 4 to 7 in this studio, hopefully starting next week if everything goes with our pilot.
Yeah, we're going to be cutting our teeth soon this week and do some pilots, and all things go well, you'll be seeing us on ProView real soon.
And that's just real simple in Comcast. And then also, and I don't know if you're aware of that, it's also, Comcast is also streamed too.
Sure.
And your program will be accessible through public access.
Yeah, either
or local origination.
Either you're going to be able to get us every single where you go and enjoy the product, or you're going to be really sick of us soon. So we're about to find out.
I don't know that that's the issue, but the thing is, what you've done is you're covering all your bases. And,
Sure.
And the upside for what you're doing, it keeps you on your toes. Like I said, you got to come in with enthusiasm every day because of all these networks you're on.
100%.
platforms,
You know, both of us, me and Fred. You know, Robert too. He's a
Speak
real.
of Robert a little bit. I know we don't mention Fred.
Yeah, sure. Robert Buck D. Gibson. He's a local comedian. He's on our show. He's also a producer at 610. High energy, really passionate guy. Does a great job for us.
Did a great job for Highlands. He did a basketball game.
Yeah. We're up there, and we're looking to do that as well next football and basketball season. Do promotions up there again.
He actually did the play-by-play.
Yeah.
You
No,
know,
he did. Yeah, he did great. Yeah, I know he
yeah,
sat in
yeah,
with you one
yeah,
time.
right.
Yeah, he did great. Yeah, Robert's amazing.
His back's still hurting.
Yeah, if you check him out online, he's I think for my money, the funniest comedian in Albuquerque. So check out Robert Gibson if you get the chance.
And I tell you, you know, we keep reiterating, but you know, how do people get a hold of you?
Okay, well, you can go online. We are 2 Men on Facebook and Instagram, and our tag is at TalkABQ. So at
Look at this,
TalkABQ.
my guys are just they came through for you, man. Aaron's on top of it, man.
He beat me to it. Email van@talkabq.com. You can email my co-host Fred at talkabq.com. I'm not going to put my personal number out here just yet, but you know, anybody, I always answer my phone, anything involving the show or the nonprofits we work with, any kind of, you know, just the radio show isn't all we do. Like, we do nonprofit fundraisers, we host events, we throw events. At Talk ABQ Productions is the marketing and production wing of 2 Men On, and we've had, you know, a lot of good fortune in the community to be working with great people and doing things that we really enjoy doing.
Go through the process of your week. How do you prepare, and what are you going to do on the show? How does that happen? I know, and then events, and if there are any special events coming up over the next month or 2 months, or how far in advance do you go?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we got tons of events coming up. You know, up at Highlands here in Albuquerque. It's going to be a lot of fun during football season. You're going to see us out in the community a lot. Yeah, again, just follow 2 Men on Facebook and Instagram at TalkABQ. Follow TalkABQ.com and just keep listening to the show, and we'll give you all the stuff as it goes along. But the process, it really depends because, you know, our schedules are so crazy. Like, our calendars are robust. We're busy guys. So it all depends. I like to have a little sit down with myself before bed and first thing in the morning, plan my day. And honestly, for the show, it only takes us an hour to prep the show, maybe 30 minutes sometimes if it's a lot of news, if it's easy to talk about. But, you know, we'll set up our guests a day ahead of time. And, you know, that's kind of the vibe of our show, is we want to feel a little more fun, a little more loose, a little more spontaneous. So it's not as rigid and regimented as what you would expect a sports show to be. We keep it loose, we keep it fun, but also we need to hit all of our talking points that we established during production meetings.
How do you get your, I I kind of know this answer, but how do you get your guests and prepare? I mean, a lot of the stuff is spontaneous. Some athlete or some coach or something will happen over the weekend, and then next thing you know, he's sitting at 610.
Yeah.
And y'all are doing an interview, or he's calling in.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we have a lot of great relationships in the community, like especially in the sports world, whether it's professional with the Isotopes and United to, you know, you guys here covering, you know, high school and college at ProView. We kind of built a web of relationships that we can draw upon. And, you know, we have an expert for this, expert for that. We know what people from the Albuquerque Journal, what people from, you know, our station, what people from the sports world here in the community can comment on different things, because 3 hours a day, 15 hours a week, that's a lot of content. That's a lot of sports. That's a lot of talking about
Well, that's
subjects.
a lot of entertainment. I mean,
Sure.
and like I said, you know, I listen to it when I'm driving home. Okay, you know, I usually catch the 4 to 5 o'clock or
Okay.
5 to 6 in that area, that time frame. But you know, I listen to Danny Gonzalez, you know,
Yeah,
and the
got a
things that-
great relationship. We've
I
done
mean,
some amazing things in the community with Danny. So
you did that
shout out to Coach G.
weightlifting thing, and he was
Yeah.
just so, you know, gracious and
Yeah.
just, hey, that's got to give you guys energy that says, hey, there's, besides, you know, a lot of people, you know, you have a product and people want to be on it. That's hard to develop.
Yeah, and I think it's, you know, from what we do for and with the community, and you know, the product that we've established over, you know, cutting our teeth for 2 years with ABQ Central on our Saturday show, and the momentum and following that built, and then parlaying that into 2 Men On, the daily show. We've had a lot of great relationships with people in the community that we love working with and love working for, and we want to keep those relationships going, and we honor and cherish, you know, all those relationships.
Real quickly, tell us where we can find you and what times you go on, and we'll
Absolutely. I'm Van Nunley, one half of the show 2 Men On 95.9 FM and AM 610, The Sports Animal. You can find us on talkabq.com. You can stream the show on the iHeart app, the KNML app, and Facebook Live when we are in studio.
Well, Van, thanks for coming on the Steve Davis Show, and good luck to you guys.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you, Steve.